Ready to go here on to the court. Our first referee making away to the top of the stand. Please welcome.
Welcome back to another semi-final. This time it's the men's elite side of the program. It's going to be the number 2 seeds and the number 3 seeds taking on each other. The Battle Royale will be taking on Tommy Hodges, and Max Guehrer will be taking on Izac, Carracher and Mark Nicolaidis. The winner of this will go on to the men's elite gold medal match live on SBS at 3 p.m. And the loser will be playing off for bronze at 12:30 p.m. So a quick turnaround, and that will be broadcast on the SBS On Demand app. So just make sure that you jump off YouTube after this and find those matches on those platforms rather than looking for the live stream here. But right now, this is the live stream of the men's elite semi-final. Tommy Hodges and Max Guehrer taking on Izac, Carracher and Mark Nicolaidis, the number 2 seeds and the number 3 seeds. Number 2 seeds are in the yellow or the gold, and the number 3 seeds, Izac and Mark, are in the purpley, pinky, magenta-y, maroni ensemble. Maxi Guehrer with the serve to kick things off. Nicolaidis with the set. And a nice little dink over the top for Izac Carracher for a winner for the first point of the day.
First 2-point buffer of the match. Hard off the hands, takes some pace off, smart swinging. All the athletes in the fight are rhythm. With the first double points, we see them adjust their tactics as the match goes on. Fantastic conditions here to kickstart Super Sunday. Change of pace. He steps in, put a lot to the tape, and it's just inside the sideline. Hodges with the save, tough serving. Utilising the block on the way through. 273. Big Maxi back to the serve. Carracher opens up the shoulder early. Takes on the defense.
Some big boys firing some big guns out here. Nicolaidis and Carracher are out to a 2-point lead, 4-2. Nicolaidis, the defender, with the serve and picking on the big boy, Maxi Guehrer, who shanks that one down high off his platform into the sand, and they change ends, 5 points to 2. The number 3 seeds, Carracher and Nicolaidis, are leading. It's a New South Wales and Queensland pairing of Carracher from New South Wales and Nicolaidis from Queensland, taking on a Vic and SA pairing of Hodges and Guehrer, respectively. Usually traditional rivals, Vic and SA and New South Wales and Queensland, but proving to be a handful for whoever comes across each of these teams. And right now, the Nicolaidis serve is proving a handful for both the big boys in gold, Hodges and Guehrer, who have been forced into a timeout being called early stages here in the first set of the men's elite semi-final. They lead 6-2, Izac and Mark do. We'll be back just after a quick break, and this is the men's semi-final, number 1, and the other semi-final is taking place out the back. We'll get a score update to you as soon as we can for the respective teams. It'll be on court 2. And it's the same scoreline, but Chris McHugh and Paul Burnett, our number 1 seeds, are leading that game, 6 points to 2. But this one here is a 6.2 lead to Izac and Mark. The boys heading to the western end, the broadcast or camera end. Still a very still morning here on the banks of the mighty Murray. Another tough little float serve. And a long off-pace attack from Max. The boys starting pretty slow. It does take a lot of time and blood to pump around those huge, huge bodies. So maybe it's just a little bit takes a little bit more time than usual. As Nicolaidis lets them play with a service fault. Gives them the opportunity to have a serve. And it's Tommy Hodges, the big Victorian, the Lego man. He's made of blocks. Let's see what he's got on serve. Oh, Nicolaidis with the jump set. Spike approach, sucking in the blocker, putting the number 2 seeds on the back foot immediately. And Carracher with a winner over the top of the block down the line. 5-point lead now. 8-3. How's the jump set? Reminiscent of one Joshua Slack who decided he was going to launch himself into the air and jump set seemingly every ball. He was a pioneer in the sport and gave Australia a world standing years and years and years ago. He's now at the helm in a new role at Queensland. He's sitting up on the hill in a white cap. Probably can't see him on camera, but he'll be there. Carracher just miss-hitting that one long, not claiming any of the Lego man's block. And a couple of points in a row for our number 2 seeds, Hodges and Guehrer, have just settled their nerves a little. They're back to within 3 points. Certainly a more respectable looking score if you're just joining us here on the YouTube live stream. Little float serve, going Carracher again. The taller of the 2, which is an interesting ploy, an interesting tactic, where you've got Nicolaidis hitting that overpass winner. Tactically, you might think that they would be serving the shorter of the 2, but Nicolaidis certainly holds his own, and he's got a few more tricks and whatnot. So they must be picking on Izac on the pass at the moment, or they might be able to read his hit a little better. Tactically, we may interview the lads later. And Maxi goes wide of the court from the Tommy Hodges set and just opens up a much sharper cross-court angle. And when you're 6'6" and can bring a hammer like that, why not? Carracher with the defensive up. Can he transition? Guehrer gets the block. Scramble and a big swing from Mark Nicolaidis. Huge swing, great transition and scramble from the number 3 seeds, and the Nicolaidis man finishes it off in style. Power approach from Max, but goes the softer option over the top for the winner. Maxi Guehrer with the serve. Picking on Izac again. Great set from Mark. Net touch from Tommy Hodges. Getting up nice and high. Just a little uncontrolled in the body. Little jump float. Goes the way of Max. He approaches and blasts it through the Carracher block. Both teams trading point for point, trading punches. And that handy little lead stays for the number 3 seeds. 8 serving 11. A little bit more heat on that serve. Too big, too strong from Izac Carracher. There's some big boys out here, so there's going to be bragging rights on jousts. Damien Schumann in retirement. He's the best jouster in the game. Is the title of that is up for grabs. So all the boys out here flexing some guns. Currently Izac winning the battle here, and Izac and Mark lead as they go into the short break, leading 12-9. Welcome back to the Men's Elite Semi-Final number 1 here on centre court. Tommy Hodges and Max Guehrer of Victorian SA respectively. The number 2 seeds taking on the number 3 seeds. The New South Wales and Queensland pairing of Izac Carracher and Mark Nicolaidis. It is the latter of the 2 teams with a 4-point lead now here in the first set of the semi-final. The winner of this semi will obviously go into the gold medal match. That will be broadcast live on SBS at 3 p.m. And the loser will be taking on the loser of the other semi-final in the Men's Elite bronze medal at 12:30 on the SBS On Demand app. So get to those various platforms at those various times and lend your support and your eyes for your favourite athletes in the country. Great block. Maxi Guehrer steps inside again, but it's the ladies' man, Mark Nicolaidis, putting a short little roll shot. Another winner. He's crafty. Maxi outreaching, 2-ball from Izac. Full stretch, Max. Can't control it up. And it's a 5-point lead now to Carracher and Nicolaidis. They are on fire here in the first set. They started fast. Caught the big boys unawares. And they currently keep them at bay. Good control from the one arm of Mark. Over on 2, and that is too much from Max. Whether he meant that or not for an overpass winner, we're not quite sure. Over on 1, seeing the vacant court out of the back of his head. Either way, the result is a point. Speaking of points, just racking them up. What a ripping cross-court swing from Izac Carracher. Great float serve again, causing the overpass. Mark Nicolaidis, and it's Izac Carracher. The presence at the net, the shorter of the 2 blockers, but by no means the lesser. 17 serving 11. As the teams change ends. Nicolaidis with it again. Puts it over to Max, who just off passes a little. Attack off the net. Carracher wheels around. Short shot. Maxi with control this time. Goes over the top and into the deepest part of the court. Mark was all over it, but he's just misjudged it and left it. But you got 6 points to play with. Why not see if you can take that slightest advantage again? But to no avail. Back to a 5-point buffer, 12 serving 17. Tommy Hodges with it. Goes the jump serve. Puts him on the back foot. There's an easy winner. Gives Max a bit of a break. He's been served every ball so far. Takes a little bit to warm up these days, Maxie. Let's see what he's got for the rest of the set and the match. Another big serve, this time going straight at Carracher. Dealt with fairly easily in a great fast set out to the stick from Nicolaidis. And finished off nicely by Izac. Back out to 5 points. 18 serving 13. Serving Max again. Just passing that one left side. Giving him not a hell of a lot of court to work with, but still tags the side. When you get up that high and you can still swing that angle from that far off the net, it's a little unfair. Of course, I say that sarcastically because if you're looking at the shortest player on the court, Mark, he's just buried that one through the underside of the block. Tools it straight down, used it nicely, 19-14, he's got the serve. Probably one of Maxie's better passes for the morning, but backed it up with probably one of his worst hits. Puts that one into the net, and that brings up first set point, 20-14. Nicolaidis with it. Flat again on the float. Great hands from Hodges. And Maxi Guehrer goes head hunting. Evasive action needed. Saved the Sunnies and saved his good looks. And only saved one set point. Still 5 under there, up their sleeve. These boys don't wear sleeves that much. Arms like that, who would? Ace serve from Hodgie. Saved another set point. A few of them in a row. We could make things interesting. But as it stands, they find themselves the wrong side of 4 more set points. And spin to win. Win does not happen for the boys of the second seed variety. And they lose that set 16-21. Cracking first set from Carracher and Nicolaidis catching the number 2 seeds, their seniors, slightly unawares, and they lead 1-0 here in the men's semi-final.
Nikki led. We'll get to that. Can she finish it with a block? Just had to win a gold medal from here.
Second set coming at you after Carracher and Nicolaidis took out the first set, 21-16. The winner of this will go into the men's gold medal match live on SBS at 3 p.m. The loser will be going into the bronze medal match at 12:30 on the SBS On Demand app. So make sure you've got your appropriate streaming and platforms ready to go. Speaking of ready to go, Maxi's picked up where he somewhat left off. Didn't have the greatest first set, but that's a cracking swing to start things off here in the second. And he trades essentially ace for error or point for point. And it is 1-1 with that service fault. Carracher with the float. Sprints to the net. Gets the joust. Wins the strength battle, however, does not win the point. As I said before, I believe he's gunning for that best jouster in Australia mantle that Damien Schumann has left open. Bang, goes cross court. Carracher, I believe they might have served young Izac into the game from the first set. Hodges and Maxi have totally targeted Izac for that first set. And, well, first of all, it didn't pay off. And secondly, Isac's dealing with it quite well. His pass is good. His attacks are terminating quite nicely. And let's be honest, Mark's sets are brilliant. Early morning breeze kicking up down the winding mighty Murray here at Thompsons Beach in Cobram. Great little cut shot from Izac. Saw the defender go down the line early. Good vision, good communication between the number 3 seeds. And we're all tied up at 3-3. Change of ends, 4-3, 1-0, leading Izac and Mark, that is. And a line roll going out. 5 serving 3. Mark and Izac doing the damage. Here, early stages in the second set. They did have a ripping first set, if you're just joining us. Taking out the first 21-16. Fairly dominant scoreline with these two fairly evenly matched teams. So interesting viewing. We've drawn back to 1, 4 serving 5.
Plenty of seating starting to be built around the courts, guys. Get yourself courtside, the best seats in the house, still up for grabs. Go! That's a 3 maxi. So high up there. Well, just find the blue max.
Six serving 7, last point before the change of ends. And it's Carracher and Nicolaidis with the 1 set to love lead. And joining us here at the change of ends in a point's time will be Andrew Schott, one of the Australian coaches. And he will be giving us all the insights and facts about the gents out there. As Nicolaidis is launching himself on defense, a little chicken wing from Izac. Maxi with full stretch. What's he got? Tight set. Nicolaidis with a 1 foot slide attack, 2-ball roll. Shotty, welcome.
Morning. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good to be here in Cobram again after a few years. Yeah, nice day. The boys are battling well. Tightened up a little bit here in the second set after a bit of a blowout in the first. And just interesting watching them put their training stuff out on the court this morning. Two quite different styles going on actually out there, which is good to see.
So we've been training for that 1 foot slide 2-ball roll shot back on cross court?
Absolutely.
Oh,
all
good.
of it.
Whose wheelhouse was that from coaching staff?
Could be me, could be a bit of Mike, could be a bit of everyone. Just the culture and the style, to be honest. Or the guys just making up on the hop, a bit of that too.
We like that sort of wheeling and dealing attitude from a lot of the young guys here. How's it been coaching them? And take us through a little bit of your role.
Yeah, so I've been working with all these guys over the last sort of 6 to 12 months and really focusing on some of the guys even younger than Mark and Izac out here. Yeah, spent some time with all of them. Obviously, Tom's been around a little bit now for about 18 months with the program, coming from the indoor national team.
Yep.
Max has been a long stalwart in our program, and Izac and Mark have made the move in the last 6 months. So a good eclectic mix of players we've got at the moment, which is kind of nice for the environment.
Absolutely. And Izac and Mark, as you touched on, they're a new pairing. How'd they come together?
Oh, look,
obviously different states and whatnot.
Yeah, different states. I think they've got a nice relationship off the court. I think they're pretty good mates, and I think they had the opportunity, which didn't work out, unfortunately, because Izac contracted COVID, to go to the King of the Court in Qatar,
right,
which is, Mark got to go. I think they just saw themselves as a nice combination, and they can shift the ball around in offense and play a little bit different. They look pretty convinced about what they want to do and where they want to go, and they're really playing hard out here this morning, really, really hustling, which is going to be their way.
Yeah. They seemingly caught maybe Tommy and Max maybe napping this morning or a slower start, because they had a pretty good blowout in that first set, and they've sort of capitalised on a little lead here as well.
Yeah, it's a tale of two styles. You know, you've got a couple of guys who often play at the net almost exclusively, and trying a bit of a new combo here with Max and Tom, and so which is nice for both of their developments, and they're all still developing to get one in the backcourt. So they're still trying to work it out what they're going to do over the summer too. So in essence of the combinations, Mark and Izac might be a little bit more settled, even though both teams are quite new. So yeah, their style of what they're doing seems to be a little bit more assured at the moment. The other guys are just kind of working a few things out, I guess deciding who's going to block more or not, and going with the flow there. And I suppose in their way, they haven't been able this morning to get out their height above the net in the power game. They just haven't controlled the ball enough yet, I think. So that'll be the next sort of 5-10 minutes, a big thing for them. That's
great. Well, I love the insights on the trends and the athletes, but performance-wise, there's a couple of international competitions in this new Olympic cycle. Is this the start of all of that for these guys and you guys? What's the go?
Yeah, 100%. In March in Mexico, it all kicks off again. The new system, the new series, the whole new look at beach volleyball, which is kind of exciting. And the boys are going to get away. Chris, Paul, Max, and Tom at least to the first event or two, and the other boys filling in after that. But everyone's pretty excited to get back on the tour and play again and see what the new system's going to be like. And Paris is only 2.5 years away, so we've gone from the longest cycle to the shortest. And so everyone's got to kind of really get going and lean into it and get the work done. So, still finding their feet in some of the new combinations, but, we'll learn a lot, and the boys will learn a lot over the next 6 to 12 months on the tour.
Yeah, awesome. And they wouldn't have had that a lot of that international travel and experience. Obviously, the last 2 years have sucked for most people, but being such young athletes and sort of coming into their seniority in the program now.
Yeah, look, it's been, as you said, John, the world's been a bit locked up, and especially in Australia, it's bigger things been at play rather than just going out and playing beach volleyball. So, we haven't played a lot, so we're just looking forward to getting them all back out there, and a lot of training for a lot of these guys over the last year or two, and it's time to get out and play again, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I've noticed some of the guys after their games are training out on the spare courts, and I saw young Zach, who's not so young anymore. He was doing his run-throughs after on his comeback journey. But even after the other morning, I saw Chris doing his run-throughs and whatnot after a game, which was a 3-setter in itself.
Yeah, so we've got a real plan to get these guys really fit. We know it's going to be a long season. We have a new SNC expert, Daniel Buberis, who have come to us from football and tennis.
Yep.
Really high-level guy. He's here working hard with the guys, a lot of work on the sand, and that's just all part of their longer-term plan. So rather than just staying completely fresh for these games, we've got to keep looking at the longer-term picture for overseas. So we are in essence still pre-season for the international tour. So we've just got to play around with how much they're playing and also how much they're training. So they've just got to do the work, to be honest.
That's a bold strategy.
Yeah, very bold.
With all three of these men's teams, or there's obviously more athletes as well, but it's good to see such a high level from at least 6 athletes in different combinations.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Like, as I said before, it's an eclectic bunch. We've got some different types of athletes, some heights and movers and shakers, and young guys coming through in the program. Took them to Junior Worlds back in December, which was really nice for them. Had a really good experience at 19s and 21s. So we've got 11 guys in the program now. So we've got sort of older guys and, guys like Izac and Mark fighting their way up, and then a bunch of young guys with the real long-term plan of Brisbane 2032.
Yes,
and look, some of these guys will still be in that mix too, but 10 years away, but it'll come quick. So there's a nice balance of athletes, and we're always looking to recruit more in for the big picture. But it's a nice training environment when you got all those guys going, and we're just obviously looking forward to getting Zach Schubert back on deck fully. He's coming along well. It's major surgery he had 6 months ago, so he's pushing hard.
He took us through some pretty rough stuff yesterday.
Yeah, he was in here. Yep.
And a little bit more about your role, Andrew. So you've obviously been around the traps for not only a long time coaching, but obviously you're a very high-level athlete yourself and probably paved the way with yourself and Slacky. I won't mention how many years ago, but
a long time ago.
Take us through a little bit more of your role and how you've seen it.
I've been around a long time. I think I'm into 13 years out of coaching now, straight out of playing, finishing in Beijing in 2008. So within our program, I've played a lot of roles with both genders and ages, and looking over the next few years to step into the role with the younger guys. I have a younger family now, a younger family, a new addition a couple of years ago. So the travel on the road for me is looking less and less possible at the moment. So taking opportunity to work with some of the younger developing guys and hopefully help them fast track over the next few years to get them ready for the following cycles and give them a real go at the future.
Well, we saw a 6-point buffer, the finishing scoreline in the first set, and we've got ourselves a 5-point ball game, still going the way of Mark and Izac. Is that a surprise to you, or not really?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising in the fact that they're probably about to, if they win, their first final on national tour, which will be the first.
Huge.
Max and Tom are around a little bit. Tom obviously has been around, but hasn't played a lot of beach volleyball, and. Like I said earlier, Mark and Izac are just looking a little bit more assured on the court at the moment with their game, and Max and Tom still trying to find their way through a little bit. And I guess they're going to be travelling overseas soon, so they're trying to find their way to some performance before then. But that's their strength. Tom blocking right there off his
his face. Yeah. I suppose it serves you right for getting that high up.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like. What Max and Tom need to do here is create some pressure off the serve so Izac and Mark can't run their faster game and give the guys time to actually put a good block up like we saw then. So as soon as Izac and Mark are running a lot quicker, moving the blocker laterally around the net, it takes away their height of the net. So they really need to sort of find something on the service line here to create some havoc down this end. But Mark's obviously passing really well and running in tempo like that, and then the commitment for the defender, and Max hasn't been a defender a lot in his life. He's been at the net, so that's a quick read of what's going on and what do I have to do. So
nice.
Again, they'll have to find some serve pressure and just hang in there siding out if they've got a chance to get back in.
You mentioned service pressure. We saw in the first set, and it didn't really work. They might have played Izac into the game. Izac was passing quite well, but they kept at him, and now they've obviously changed to Mark a couple of times. But as you say, that first ball, that first touch, you set the tone from the serve. So even in yesterday's quarterfinal, we saw there was not a lot of pressure from the opponents for Chris and Paul. It was at this level, you go punch for punch, essentially, but if you can start that service pressure, And you're going to put him on the back foot. And Mark's just terminating nicely.
Yeah, no, he's in a real groove, Mark, at the moment. They're looking very, very assured. Yeah, I mean, the way the game's going, internationally, more and more teams are trying to be more creative with their offense, move the ball, hitting on two, jump setting, running behind. A lot of creativity now in the game. And the first weapon of choice is the serve against that. You need to get them out of flow. And so, that's Max and Tom's bread and butter, a high ball, attacking the block, being nice and big.
Yep.
But 14-18, they want to get a wriggle on here, and they need to score pretty soon to try and get some advantage back and make maybe Mark and Izac just think about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's
just
missed.
wide.
There's a little crack in the door right there.
Yeah, here we go.
15-18.
Can they break through and send this to a third and deciding set? Obviously, the winner will go into the gold medal match at 3 o'clock on SBS, and the loser will be playing for bronze on the SBS On Demand app at 12:30 today. So lots to play for, not just bragging rights between these
there we go.
training partners. So 3 in a row for the big boys in gold.
And, I mean, the thing is, obviously made the comment a minute ago saying the young boys looking into their first final, 18-14 up.
Yep.
Couple of serves, couple of
Might
plays.
be thinking ahead a little too much.
It's very easy to do. Been there myself about 1 million years ago when you start thinking about the end line. And volleyball's a game with no end line. It's just a score. There's no timing. So a nice side out. 19-16. Just a little sniff for Tom and Max here now. So.
And how do you find the conditions? Obviously in Cobram, it's probably more. We discussed yesterday with Zach being river sand. It's a bit harder, a bit more compact. You got more of an aerial game, but the conditions are different because the sand's hotter, but the wind is less.
Yes, it is. So it can get really hot, and that was a touch. The sand is a little bit harder. So the guys are playing a little bit big above the net. We haven't had a lot of wind here this week, and it's not really affecting too much. We probably get the sun action early in the morning and the afternoon here with the court facing a bit east-west.
East-west.
But, that's beach volleyball. You've got to put up with all the conditions you face. 17-19 is a big side out for the young boys.
It's a good read down the line. Tommy, what's he got? Goes himself down the line but misses, and that's going to bring up triple match point.
You don't want to say that was probably their chance there to close it up, and it was a decent dig. It wasn't the best. It didn't get in quite on top of the net, and just couldn't execute that line shot under pressure. Mark and Izac would love to finish it here on the serve and not have to go inside out for the match. It's always difficult, so they'll be putting everything into this.
Let's see that service pressure you mentioned before. What's Mark got? Goes Zach again. Inside set. Big swing through the middle, splits the block and the defender. That's a little bit more bread and butter from them.
Yeah, it is. It is. Just using their height, hitting the high, deep parts of the court, keeping them out of the way. So now the young boys got a couple of shots here to side out.
Yep. Let's see what that service pressure does to Tommy, the Lego man, just made of blocks. Yeah. What's he got at the top of the tape? Great swing, and the boys find themselves in their first gold medal match. 21-16, 21-18, 2 sets to love victory to Izac and Mark.
Yeah, that's a good win for the younger lads, knocking off the older boys. First final by them. And look, really solid game, really assured. Like, their side out looks in good order, a little bit wobbly at the end, but you expect that when you're looking at doing something new, like making your first final. But, their rhythm and timing look great. They put a bit of pressure on defensively, and Tom and Max couldn't quite get their game going. Again, still building their game, so still looking for what their strengths are going to be and putting them out there. So they'll go away, and away they go and try and work harder to get better for the bronze medal, and then on with another one after that.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 medal matches coming up, so these 2 teams are not done with yet. So Tom and Max will probably think about what could have been, but still a bronze medal to go. And Izac and Mark find themselves into the gold medal match, and we'll find out who they're playing in just a moment. But Andrew, thank you very much for your insights and your expertness up here. And I'll let you go and